This is a fully orange CS2 inventory and I'll try and show you cheap options when the skins are too expensive, and we're starting off with Tech9 Safety Net, which is quite literally perfect, and you can get the clean factory new version for just $1.6. Next up we have the MP9 Modest Thread, which is another one that just fits like a glove, you just have to look at it, and it is also very cheap because the factory new is $1.3. For the M4A1S I chose the Fade, but there's two problems with it. The first one is that the factory new costs a lot. It is $445 and it is also not fully orange, it is mostly on the tip, so a better option would be the M4A1S Atomic Alloy, but it is not cheap because the minimum wear is still $50, so a better option for those on a lower budget is probably the Nitro for just $1 in factory new. And going over to the P250 I went to the Bengal Tiger, which is perfect, but the issue here is that the ones that fit well are the fully orange patterns, which like this one, which is a tier 1 pattern, makes it look very good, but it also makes it very expensive. However, a cheaper option would be the P250 Asimov, which in field test is only $3. And going over to the Glock, I chose the Reactor, which doesn't need any explanation, it just fits very nicely and it is pretty cheap because the minimum wear is $6.3. This video was sponsored by SkinsMonkey, which is a trading platform where you can trade your old rusty CS2 skins for some new shiny ones in seconds. You just select the skins that you want to trade and the ones that you want to get. You click trade and it's done. If you use my code OZNI on the website, you get a bonus of up to $5 for free and a 35% bonus when buying balance. They also host giveaways in the freebies page, and link to SkinsMonkey is in the description. For the op I had three choices. The best one is the Desert Hydro, but the factory new is around $2,300, so a cheaper option would be the op Boom, but it is still not cheap because the minimum wear is $140. And obviously you can also go for the classic op Asimov, and this one is about the same price. In field tested it is $138, so there isn't really a super cheap option. And going over to the SP, we have the Orion, which is hands down the best pick possible here. The minimum wear is around $54 though, but when it comes down to a cheaper option it's really hard. I don't think there's a single one, so if you had any suggestion here, let me know what you would do down in the comments. But then we have the Galil Orange DD Pet, which is just perfect. It is kinda expensive for a Galil though, I'm not gonna lie, because the minimum wear is still around $20. And then we have the 5.7 Cooper Galaxy, which is hands down perfect, and it is cheap as well. You can get the factory new version for $6.4. And for the Desert Eagle we have the Fennec Fox, which is great, right? It fits well, but the price, well, that's not so great because the minimum wear is $235, and once again, good luck finding a replacement. If you have any, just comment down below. But then we have the AK Safety Net, which is hands down the best pick possible here, both in terms of price and orangeness, I guess, because the minimum wear is around $4. And going over to the Mach 10 we have the Amber Fade, which isn't perfect, it's not even close, but it's the best one possible, and the factory new is still $15. Next up we have the M4A4 Asimov, and here there is quite literally no other option. This one is great, right, but it's also very expensive because the field tested version is $150. And then we have the FAMAS Meltdown, which looks great, but it's pretty expensive for a FAMAS as well. It is the only option though, and the minimum wear is $36. And then we have the Scout Slashed, and a fun fact is that field tested is the best condition that this one can be in, and it costs around $2. Next up the SC Tiger Moth, which is actually my play skin. It just looks great and the minimum wear is around $1.3. And then we have the Og Eye of Zapams, which isn't fully orange, but it kinda mostly is, and it just looks awesome, and you can get the minimum wear version for around $11. Next up the Nova Erst Hole, and yeah, I have no idea how to spell it, but the minimum wear for $1.3 is pretty good. And for the knife and glove combo I'll show you two options, an expensive and a cheap one. So for the expensive one we have the Butterfly Tiger 2 factory new with the Specialist Gloves Tiger Strike in field tested. But as you can imagine, this combo is pretty expensive, it costs around $2,150, so a cheaper one would have to be the Gut Knife Tiger Tooth in factory new with the hand wraps Badlands in field tested, and this one is just so much cheaper. You can get it for around $302, so it is much more affordable and it looks pretty good as well. Let me know what you guys would change in this loadout. Orange is a pretty tough color in general, there's some skins that you don't really have a cheap replacement sadly, but that is it. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel for daily CS2 content.